Over the time that gaming has been around, there have been many different video game franchises from Mario, Call of Duty, you name it. There is always going to be that one franchise that you might enjoy that is a good fit for you. So, in this video, I will be giving you my top 5 video game franchises and going over the pros and cons of each of the 5 franchises I pick, and giving my initial thoughts right after. Coming in at a strong start at number 5 is the GTA series. This franchise, in my eyes, for me to describe it, is a wonderful franchise with its overarching story, mixed with incredible gameplay that keeps many players engaged. I have to say, what is very disappointing is how there are many limitations on the franchise that don't allow you to do certain things. For example, you can't enter in many of the locations in the games themselves. The story mode in some of the games can be very long, and there are not a lot of ways to make quick money. And it's all dependent on the missions you do throughout the story. Nevertheless, though, it is still a great franchise. Alright, coming in at number 4 on this list is going to be everybody's favorite pink puffball, Kirby. What else is more to say when it comes to this franchise? It's simply one of the more cuter franchises. But it still manages to be the most popular franchise behind Mario, Sonic, and Zelda. And it does great in many different things. But what I think is what brings it down is the fact that some of the games can feel too linear. And when you try to change some things, it is not always a good thing. Otherwise, it is still a franchise that many people often go back and play again and again. Going on to the number 3 pick on my list is the Super Smash Bros. Series. Boy, oh boy, do I have a lot to say about this franchise. From the huge list of characters and stages that they bring to the table, and many fun times playing multiplayer with your friends, to the various different modes, this one is sure to keep you playing for a long time. With many great franchises, there are still things that are wrong with it. To give you some examples, as the series has continued, it has become very lackluster to the point where it's just not enough. You have a very limited selection of modes, not enough bosses to fight other than the typical Master Hand and Crazy Hand in classic mode, and shops that don't really provide any value other than to buy trophies. So it feels like they are just there. The second to last franchise I picked is the Super Mario series. I put this at number 3 because I have reasons to list the pros and cons I have with this series. So here we go. To begin, this franchise has become the most popular franchise to play, and it's very widely recognized around the world. And if I can list off all the games that this Red Plumber has, it would take me all day, from his platformers to his spin-off games. He is truly a treasure. But if there's one thing that is a con, though, to the franchise, it is that it is a little bit too linear and simplistic, as it goes through the same concept in almost every mainline game, excluding the spin-offs, which can be super repetitive real quick. To be honest, it is still fun to play though every now and again. To tie it all off, my number 1 pick of this list has got to be The Legend of Zelda, and it deserves the number 1 spot because of how amazing the franchise is as a whole, where it gives off a little bit of challenge to the player And it manages to pull off such an amazing story with great gameplay that is a mix of different genres out there with RPG, puzzle, action, and adventure, and manages to bring in new elements into each game that comes out. But we can't just forget about the cons of this franchise, which is to me at least two things that I think hold it back. Because it's a really long game and it can be tedious, and in my opinion, I believe that it is for the more experienced player, as it is difficult to provide a challenge. As well, it can be overwhelming that the game franchise is throwing in many different gaming genres, which can make it quite confusing. Still, though, it is a game that will provide you with hours of fun to keep you engaged, that provides a challenge.